Hello everybody, it's Noah here from Audiocube, and today I'm just going to give you a full tutorial of the latest version of the software. I've done a lot of work in the last few months and it's now looking very different to how it was in previous videos, so I thought I'd just give you a full tutorial from start to finish of how you can use Audiocube. So for starters, when you get opening into the app, you'll see the login screen. If you don't have a paid account, just enter your email address and leave the password blank. This is just for activating your account if you have a pro license. If you're free user, try to sign in and you'll see a trial button and just click that. But obviously I have an account, so you'll just sign in, click open, and then the first thing you'll see is the project screen. I've got all my saved projects here. You probably won't have any. If you want to load a saved project, just click it and click load and it will load in. There are a few templates here, each designed for a slightly different function just to help you get started quickly. And you can also click this folder button to see all of your saves like this, and then you can use that for transferring saves and stuff like that. Okay, so let's get started. We'll just click here to create a blank project. And the first thing that you'll see is this screen. First, I'll just give you a quick run through of the basic user interface, just so you know where everything is. Then I'll show you how to move the camera around, create devices, and then I'll show you some more advanced features. So for starters, you have these two main windows here, which can be resized. And you can open and close all the windows with the window drop down like so. There are also a couple of shortcuts, like clicking in the corner will open the browser and clicking this arrow will open this right hand side panel. Uh, then you have all your drop downs up here for creating new projects, saving your projects, quitting the app. Drop down for adding devices. I'll explain that in more detail. The window drop down, the audio drop down, which has some controls for how the spatial, acoustics, and binauralization stuff works. I'll go in more detail later. The visuals, which changes the visual elements, and you can change the graphics quality. If you're on an older machine, I would recommend using the fastest quality just because it's the least intense, but otherwise Ultra makes it look the best. And change theme lets you switch between all of these cool different color schemes. So there are some which are designed for darker situations and others for lighter. I think for now we will go with Audiocube, maybe the carbon one, just because that sky blue one is burning my eyes out because my screen's so bright. Okay, so yeah, help. Got a few different things to get help, and then this is a console, just shows you what's been happening, so you can find out where issues are happening. So that's the basics of the interface. The left panel is your browser panel. This is where all your audio files are. This is how you create devices and preview audio files. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get some audio files in the project. If you're on Windows, you can just drag and drop your WAVs or folders in. Unfortunately, this doesn't work on Mac, but we also have this import folder, so just click the button here and it will take you to a location where all you need to do is just paste files in here. So let's just duplicate this, for example. I mean, this is just the same as pasting in a new sample. And then when you've pasted files into that folder, just click refresh and you'll now see it here. It should work with WAV or MP3s. I think MP3s still work, but WAVs are definitely going to work. To move through, you just click on folders and you can see your audio samples and just click one to preview. And there's a preview volume. You can loop. Yeah, that's basically it. Also, we have the sample pack installer. I will sort this out probably before you see this video. So this links to the online sample pack directory. You just click and it will install the pack. The core sounds one has the most in it, but I will be splitting this up into the subfolders, and it just installs them in here. So yeah, I'll split this out later. So that is the basics of the browser. Next, let's look at how you create devices, and then I'll explain each device in detail and show you how to control the devices. So when you've got things in your library here, let's say we'll just drag and drop, and it creates a sampler by default, which is just your basic device. Alternatively, you can drag any of these to create the other types of devices, like emitters. Maybe you go for something like this. Yeah, you can right click to... Yeah, well, I'll explain these all properly later. You just drag the tiles and it creates a device like so. You can also get them from up here, or you right click and they're all here too. Okay, so that covers the basics of creating devices. Now let's look at how to move devices, move the camera, and start interacting with things. Oh yeah, if you ever see a little eye thing, just put your mouse over it for more information. So camera is pretty basic. Just use the W, A, S, and D keys or arrow keys to move around. You can also right click and drag, or left click and drag. Scroll the mouse to go up and down. E and Q to rotate, or Z and X. I mean, all of the shortcuts are on the user manual, so I recommend you just check that out if you want more information on all of that. You can just move devices by clicking and dragging them, but if you click and drag and then hold the Alt key, you'll be able to move them slightly differently, so it kind of mimics where your mouse is on the desk. Or if you let go, it goes into more perspective. If you hold Shift, you can select multiple devices at once, and then these can all be moved exactly the same. If you hold Alt and, oh yeah, as you said, if you click and hold the middle mouse button, you can rotate the camera like this. Let's get a, and you'll be able to hear the full rotation. But if you hold Alt and then move it, it instead goes into like an orbit mode, and also the zoom in and out rather than up and down while you're holding Alt. You've also got this camera control. You can just click and drag to move, or here, and these as well. This is like the snap function, so you can just click any of these cones to instantly snap in the direction. Which can be handy. And you also, if you click on the cube here, it goes into orthographic mode, which is like a kind of renders it in 2D rather than 3D for a bit of a different, like, isometric look. But yeah, so that's the basic of camera. When you have devices in here, in your scene, they'll appear in this device list, which you can open by clicking this button. You can toggle it open and closed, along with the editor and all the other windows. Oh yeah, if you want a custom library folder, click this. This means that you can change the default location of the library folder, because some people, it automatically goes to your main hard drive, but some people might want it on an external hard drive or something like that. Okay, let's look at editing devices. So you've got the device rack here, which you can open clicking this, and this will show you all the devices in your scene. And you can kind of control devices easily here. You can delete them, you can play, etc., and you can jump to looking at them, which is quite handy. You can collapse these and you can shrink this. So let's look at the devices in more detail and what each of them can do, because they have been upgraded a little bit. So oh yeah, when you're multi-selecting things, if you hold shift and press the shortcuts, it will delete them. But yeah, look on the online manual for more tutorials. And let's look at some of the devices. So samplers, these are just your bread and butter sampling device. Play, stop, loop. You can change the start and end time. It's quite fun. Clone, delete, change the pitch. Change the volume. You have an attack and decay, which works when you play and not when the device is looped, but yeah, this is quite a short sample, so you're not really hearing the decay. Select which mixer channel it comes out on. Do some effects. Etc. You got some other controls here, just for moving. And then you can set the range. If you click this, it'll make it clearer what's going on. That affects like how far the audio range of the device. You can also click this little bit here. So that's the basic of samplers. Just click here to exit the editor range. Now we've got emitters, which do this. So every time it drops a ball, it plays the... let's go for something a bit different. Yeah, you can just drag and drop a new sample in here to load it. Might want to turn this up a bit. I think these, yeah, they go to mix channel 7 by default. So if you click these, it selects what notes will potentially play whenever the node just go for a nice major scale. And you might be thinking, how do you make these play? Because obviously you don't want to be having to press spacebar all the time. And here we get into the sequencing devices. The tickers are the most basic ones, and you also have logic box. But Alex, this is a bit more complicated. I'll probably make its own tutorial. So click the ticker and then hold Control to activate connection mode. Then you can just click, and these basically have a timed loop where they will send a trigger message every time the loop is reached. Just put a bit of reverb. And these can connect to as many devices as you like, and other tickers, etc. And you'll see whenever you click a device, it automatically jumps to the relevant editor, but you can manually switch between them in here. So effect zones will apply their effects to any audio sources inside. So just put filter. Maybe a bit of reverb. I need to change the parameters of things a bit. So while the device is inside, it will be processed. So yeah, that's the basic of effect zones. I'll just stop this. You can also click this to stop everything and delete everything, like all the So that's the basic of tickers. Now let's look at some of the more advanced acoustic stuff. So it all begins with sound walls, which you can resize like so. You can also use this. And these interact with the audio settings. That you'll find up here. So this uses more CPU, but it has a more realistic spatialization. So you're going to want to make sure that occlusions and reflections are checked. And then you'll hear how you see it's blocked. Blocks the audio. You can see how the sound waves are propagated. And, you know, it's best when you've got multiple walls. Because obviously this is kind of like an anechoic chamber. Because obviously there's nothing for the sound to bounce off, so you need to... And you can kind of create different room sizes, different reverbs. I was working on a thing where you can change the material of the walls, but it's not in yet. So yeah, you can do quite a lot. It's quite cool. So let's look at what else we got here. Yeah, the mixer. Devices can be routed to different channels. Here. So it's fairly standard EQ. Volume. Reverb. These come to these. And then you've got some mastering, where all of the channels are run through. Okay, so I did just overload the system here with the overload protection, which I'll make another video on. I think I'll probably split all the stuff I've explained into a smaller group of tutorials, as this is probably too long. Yeah, logic boxes, I mean, it's complicated. Sequencer. So tickers and samplers can be sequenced. You just hit play. And I mean, it's a little bit basic, but you can sort of sequence. And you can set the loop length. You can get subdivision. If you hold control, it like snaps to the grid. Set the BPM. And then you can record position automation. I mean, this sounds messy, but I mean, you can do some really cool stuff with it. And then click record up here, start recording. I mean, this sounds chaotic, but I mean, it's just a start. You can obviously build some really cool stuff. And yeah, you might be interested in turning off this distance. So that would stop the distance from happening. And then when you're happy, just click stop recording. And you can then click open folder. and you'll find all your Audiocube recordings in here. I don't think you'll hear this because of how my stuff is set up. So yeah, that's like a big-ish tutorial. I mean, it wasn't very well planned. Check out the learning resources on the website, and I will make some smaller, more in-depth tutorials for each concept, just so it's broken down a bit better. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and go and get